Hello YouTube, this is Let's Talk Horror and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so today I'm wrapping up my I Know What You Did Last Summer review series with I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. This is a direct-to-DVD sequel to the first two movies from 2006, and we're going to read the synopsis and I will give you my thoughts. The latest installment in the I Know What You Did Last Summer horror franchise focuses on a seemingly harmless 4th of July prank that ends in the unexpected death of a friend of 14 from Broken Ridge, Colorado. And that is your synopsis. And guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to come right out and say it. This is truly one of the worst, if not the worst, slasher film I've ever seen. And the slasher genre has a lot of shitty direct-to-DVD movies, sequels, and franchises. The Leprechaun franchise, even though it fully knows what it is a chore to get through. The Hellraiser franchise is a chore to get through. The Wrong Turn franchise is a chore to get through. I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot of stuff about the Children of the Corn franchise, that it's an absolute chore to get through. I would watch any Leprechaun film over this. I would watch any Wrong Turn film over this. I would watch any Hellraiser sequel over this. It's that bad. If I made a top 5 worst slasher list, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer would not only be there, it'd probably be number 1. It is that bad. It's so bad that I really struggle to say anything good about it, but the one positive I was able to find is that the last 2 kills in the movie are actually not only pretty good kills, they are 2 of the better kills in the entire franchise. Now, maybe that's controversial, but I also feel like that's not saying much. We get one kill where this person gets a hook in their mouth and they get pulled through a window, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then we get one where somebody is impaled on a lift. 2 of the gorier kills of the franchise. So that's probably the only good thing I can really say about this film. But I don't think the ideas were all that bad either. You know, the whole idea of having this new thing where it's this prank at this carnival where one of these kids dresses up as a fisherman and he attacks another friend to make it look like the fisherman is attacking this carnival, and to allow their friend PJ to do this skateboard trick, and it results in the death of PJ. So the fact that they not only have to deal with the guilt of murdering someone, but deal with the guilt of murdering their friend, I actually thought that could have been a cool idea if well done. The problem is it's not very well done. And so I just wanted to mention that. And with that, let's dive into my negatives. So my first complaint about the film is, for the most part, it's not a sequel to either of the previous 2 I Know What You Did Last Summer films, guys. It's a whole brand new story, following brand new characters in a brand new state. And it's not in Southport. And until like the last 25 minutes of the movie, with some extremely forced and convoluted writing, where they try to connect it to the original 2 films, it has nothing to do with that. And so the title, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, is pretty deceiving because you're not going to follow any of those characters or the story plots in this film. And guys, don't misunderstand me. I get it. I get that they were never going to get Jennifer Love Hewitt back or Freddie Prinze Jr. back. You can still go without those characters and have a sequel that feels like a continuation of the previous story. I mean, Halloween 4 is a perfect example of that. That didn't have Laurie Strode. That didn't have Jamie Lee Curtis, but it felt like a continuation of what we had gotten before it in the previous 2 Michael Myers Halloween movies. This one doesn't. Even though it's advertised as a sequel, even though the title suggests it's a sequel, it doesn't feel like a sequel at all until, again, some very contrived writing at the end of the movie. My other complaint is that this movie looks horrendous. Look, I get it. It's a direct-to-DVD sequel in the mid-2000s. They did not have a great budget, but they had to have had some kind of budget, right? They had to have had some kind of budget more than that of a chicken salad sandwich, because I don't know what they shot this on. It looks awful. The lighting looks awful. The production value all around looks terrible. even for a direct-to-DVD slasher. And then to piggyback off of that, the transitions and some of the editing techniques they use, like the fast cut, flashy transitions and editing techniques. Let me tell you this. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer feels very 90s, but it feels very 90s in a way that's still nostalgic and still charming, especially for those of us who grew up with the films. This feels very early to mid 2000s in the worst possible way, where it feels just incredibly dated in the worst possible way. Just on that alone, all the production value and the transitions and the editing, it's not a good movie to look at. And then just to actually get into the characters of the film, these are all just incredibly bland, cliche, cookie cutter characters. Yeah, very one note. Like Amber, the final girl, the one thing we know about her is that she likes photography. That's it. And she's dating Colby, who's kind of the Barry of this movie. He's just a very watered down, bland version of the prototypical asshole character. He's even more bland than Ty was in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And then you have Zoe, who the only thing we know about her is that she's the punk rock girl and she wants to be a punk rocker. And then you have Roger, who we barely even know about him. Like he fixed ski lifts or whatever, and he's kind of the jokester, and he's, the guy that dresses up as the fishermen to pull this prank at the carnival, and it just totally bland. And then finally, we have Lance, who, his one character trait is that he wants to fuck Amber, and there's this whole love triangle between Amber, Colby, and Lance, and he was related to PJ, by the way, which, it's funny about his character because mid-movie it comes out that Lance has known all along that this was a prank and that, you guys did this stunt and it killed his family member. Lance is related to PJ, the guy that died in this prank, and yet he's still trying to fuck Amber. Like, I don't know about you. If I find out that this girl played a big hand in the death of one of my family members, I wouldn't want anything to do with her. But yet this is kind of like the romance the movie is building towards. But overall, guys, yeah, these characters are just stereotypical, bland, cookie cutter characters, and you don't care about any of them. And therefore, pretty much when they try to carbon copy the story that the original I Know What You Did Last Summer was telling, it's not as effective because you don't care about any of these characters. But where this movie really jumps the shark for me, guys, it's just the last 25, 30 minutes of the film with the contrived and forced way that they try to connect this to the original film. So here's the explanation. So the prank they pulled at the 4th of July carnival where their friend dressed up as the fisherman and attacked people at this carnival, or attacked Colby at this carnival, and tried to fool everyone in this great prank. They came up with the fisherman gimmick because they stumbled across the news of what happened in Southport and what happened in the Bahamas to Julie James. So let me get this straight. These kids in the age before social media, not only in a different state and in a different town, but in a different part of the country, in Colorado, somehow stumbled across news of this fisherman legend in Maine. It feels so forced. It feels so contrived. It just feels like they knew they had to connect it somehow, and it just doesn't feel natural at all. And then for these characters to jump to the conclusions of, hey, let's use that to pull a prank, it doesn't feel realistic at all. And especially in the last half hour where they actually make a smart decision at the end of this film to, like, hey, someone is stalking us, someone is taunting us. Let's get out of Broken Ridge, I think the name of the town is, and we're going to haul up somewhere else for a couple of days, and we're going to wait for this whole thing to blow over. That actually sounds like a relatively smart plan. And then we are supposed to believe that at this 4th of July concert they're going to be having, because they canceled the carnival but apparently didn't cancel the concert, that some agents from LA are going to be scoping out this concert and that they want to recruit Zoe to come to LA. And Zoe says, oh, I gotta stay. I can't go anywhere. I gotta stay. This is not a great opportunity. And then they all decide, with their lives at risk, this entire group of people, of like 5 people, decide, you know what, we're going to go to the concert to support Zoe and stay together. And it's just like, it's so contrived. It's so forced. It's so stupid. The character decisions, especially at the end of the movie, are just laughably bad. It's the cliche horror movie characters and slasher movie characters, but in the worst ways. And that leads us to the big reveal of the movie, which is that somehow the ghost or the spirit or the zombie of Ben Willis has come back to life, and he has been the one stalking and killing these kids for this prank last summer. And it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's not surprising, but again, just goes with completely jumping the shark. There was never any single solitary thing at all, not even a little tiny hint that anything supernatural was going on in the first two movies. And then all of a sudden, this movie out of nowhere just hits us with this major supernatural explanation that is totally out of left field. It doesn't make any sense with the rest of the franchise, but it's sadly not surprising for this movie. And it completely wastes the hour and a half whodunit mystery they were building up. Not that the whodunit aspect of this movie is good at all. It's not. It's even worse than the second one. But just to have it pay off with that explanation, it's ridiculous. It just solidifies this movie for me as one of the worst slashers I've ever seen. And to cap off, finally, we get another jump scare ending, because apparently every single one of these movies has to end with a jump scare ending. We get probably the worst one of them yet. It's just completely ridiculous. So to sum up, guys, yes, I hate this movie. This is one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. This is one of the worst slasher movies I've ever seen. It's in serious conversation for number one. I have to give I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer a 0.5 out of 10, man. A 0.5 out of 10. Maybe that's too harsh. Maybe you think it is, but this was just a miserable experience. I've tried watching it 3 times. And if I'm being honest, guys, the best thing to come out of this review is that I never have to watch this movie again. I can put this out there and never have to watch this piece of shit again. But okay, folks, that's going to do it for me. Again, I give I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer a 0.5 out of 10. And that means up next is the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. My review of that should be up by the weekend or early next week at the latest. So thanks for tuning into this review series, guys, and I will see you guys later. Okay, take care.